Dark forest hypothesis. The universe contains hundreds of billions of stars in our galaxy alone, and there are hundreds of billions of galaxies beyond it. With numbers this large, it seems almost impossible that humanity would be the only intelligent civilization. Yet, despite decades of searching, we have never found clear evidence that anyone else is out there. This mystery is known as the Fermi paradox. One of its most unsettling proposed answers is called the dark forest hypothesis. The idea compares the universe to a dark forest where every civilization is like a hunter moving silently between the trees. Nobody knows whether the strangers they encounter are peaceful or hostile, so revealing their location could be fatal. Instead of broadcasting their existence, every advanced civilization stays completely silent, and anyone who makes too much noise risks being destroyed before they become a threat. There is no evidence that this is how the universe actually works, but the possibility alone changes the way many people think about the search for extraterrestrial life. Rather than asking why nobody is talking, the hypothesis asks a much darker question. What if everyone is deliberately hiding? Brain-eating amoeba. Few things sound more terrifying than a microscopic organism capable of attacking the brain. Naegleria fowleri is an amoeba that naturally lives in warm fresh water, such as lakes, rivers, and hot springs. Infection does not happen by drinking contaminated water. Instead, water containing the amoeba must travel deep into the nose, allowing it to reach the brain through the olfactory nerve. Once there, it causes a rare but extremely dangerous infection. Fortunately, this disease is extraordinarily uncommon. Millions of people swim in lakes every year without becoming infected, and only a tiny number of cases are reported worldwide. Simple precautions, such as avoiding forcing warm fresh water into the nose or using nose clips during high-risk activities, can reduce the already low risk even further. Although the infection is frightening because of its severity, the odds of encountering it remain incredibly small. Rogue waves. For centuries, sailors returned from the sea with stories of enormous waves appearing without warning and towering over their ships. Many scientists believed these stories were exaggerated because traditional wave models suggested such waves should be almost impossible. Then satellites and ocean measurements confirmed that rogue waves are very real. These giant walls of water can form when several wave systems combine at exactly the right moment, creating a wave much taller than those surrounding it. Some have reached heights greater than a 10-story building. Because they can appear suddenly in otherwise normal seas, they remain one of the greatest natural dangers for ships and offshore structures. Modern forecasting has improved, but predicting the exact location and timing of a rogue wave is still extremely difficult. Gamma-ray bursts. Every day, somewhere in the universe, an explosion releases more energy in seconds than our sun will produce during its entire lifetime. These events are called gamma-ray bursts, and they are among the most powerful explosions ever observed. They are usually created when massive stars collapse or when neutron stars collide. If one occurred close enough to Earth and its narrow beam happened to point directly at our planet, it could damage the ozone layer, exposing life to dangerous levels of ultraviolet radiation. Fortunately, astronomers have found no nearby stars that appear likely to produce such an event in a way that threatens Earth. The possibility is scientifically fascinating, but experts consider the risk to our planet extremely low. Sleep paralysis. Imagine waking up in the middle of the night, fully aware of your surroundings, but discovering that you cannot move a single muscle. You try to speak, but no sound comes out. Then you notice what looks like a shadow standing in the corner of the room. Many people throughout history believe these terrifying experiences were caused by ghosts, demons, or supernatural beings. Today, scientists understand that sleep paralysis occurs when the brain wakes up before the temporary muscle paralysis of dreaming has ended. The hallucinations feel incredibly real because parts of the dreaming process continue while the person is awake. Although the experience can be deeply unsettling, it usually lasts only a few seconds or minutes and is not physically dangerous. Rabies. Rabies is one of the oldest diseases known to humanity, and it remains one of the deadliest once symptoms begin. The virus spreads through the saliva of infected mammals, most commonly from bites. After entering the body, it slowly travels along the nerves toward the brain. During this incubation period, which can last weeks or even months, a person often feels completely normal. This delay is why immediate medical treatment after a possible exposure is so important. Once symptoms develop, the disease is almost always fatal. Fortunately, modern medicine has made rabies largely preventable through prompt wound cleaning and post-exposure vaccination. In countries with strong vaccination programs for both humans and animals, deaths have become much less common. The ocean's depths. More than 70% of Earth's surface is covered by water, yet the deep ocean remains one of the least explored places on our planet. Sunlight disappears just a few hundred meters below the surface, leaving complete darkness. The pressure becomes so intense that it would crush most submarines not specially designed for the environment. Despite these extreme conditions, life thrives there. Scientists have discovered glowing fish, transparent creatures, giant squid, and organisms that survive near underwater volcanic vents without sunlight. Every expedition continues to uncover species that have never been seen before. The deep ocean reminds us that even on our own planet, there are still vast regions filled with mysteries waiting to be explored. Supervolcanoes. Most volcanoes erupt from a central mountain, but supervolcanoes are far larger systems capable of producing eruptions unlike anything in recorded human history. Instead of releasing lava alone, they can eject enormous quantities of ash and gas high into the atmosphere. Such an eruption could affect global temperatures, disrupt agriculture, and interfere with air travel for extended periods. Geological evidence shows that these events have occurred in Earth's distant past, but they are extraordinarily rare. Scientists constantly monitor known supervolcanoes for signs of unusual activity, and there is currently no evidence that a catastrophic eruption is imminent. Near-Earth asteroids. Earth shares the solar system with millions of asteroids, many of which orbit safely between Mars and Jupiter. However, some follow paths that bring them relatively close to our planet. Large asteroid impacts have shaped Earth's history, including the event linked to the extinction of the non-avian dinosaurs about 66 million years ago. Today, astronomers use powerful telescopes to discover and track potentially hazardous asteroids. Most newly found objects turn out to pose no danger, and many of the largest nearby asteroids have been mapped decades into the future. Space agencies are also testing ways to deflect threatening objects, making planetary defense an active area of scientific research. Prion diseases. Most infectious diseases are caused by bacteria, viruses, fungi, or parasites. Prion diseases are different because they involve misfolded proteins. These abnormal proteins cause nearby normal proteins to change shape as well, gradually damaging brain tissue. The diseases they cause are extremely rare, but can be devastating. Scientists continue to study prions because they challenge many traditional ideas about how diseases spread and develop. Although the topic sounds alarming, the average person is very unlikely to encounter a prion disease during their lifetime. Vacuum of space. Movies often portray space as a place where people instantly freeze or explode if exposed to the vacuum. Reality is different, though still extremely dangerous. Without oxygen, a person would lose consciousness quickly. Body fluids would not instantly boil away because the skin provides some protection, but gases inside the body would expand, making the situation life-threatening within seconds. Temperatures in space are also more complex than they appear in films because heat transfer works differently in a vacuum. Survival would depend entirely on rapid rescue and repressurization. Space remains one of the most hostile environments humans have ever explored. False memories. Most people trust their memories completely, believing they function like a video recording of past events. Research has shown that memory is far more flexible. Each time we recall an event, the brain reconstructs it, and small details can change without us realizing it. Experiments have demonstrated that people can become convinced they experienced events that never actually happened. This has important implications for eyewitness testimony, criminal investigations, and everyday life. Our memories help define who we are, but they are not perfect records of reality. Sometimes the most convincing story our minds tell us is one that was never true in the first place. If you enjoyed so far, then go hit that like button. Until next time.